Welcome to the Excuse Smashers podcast.
Hey, this is Tim Kaufman. Thank you so much for joining me as I talk to some of the most amazing people on the planet about excuses and why they didn't let excuses hold them back from a plant-based lifestyle. So sit down, buckle up, and hang on as my guests show you how to
Smash excuses.
Okay, Jim Gray, thank you so much for joining us. What a pleasure to have you here today.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
So we're going to do what most podcasts do in 40 minutes. I'm going to try to get you to share your entire story in 5 minutes. And I know that can be difficult, but if you could just answer, how has a plant-based lifestyle changed your life?
The plant-based diet has really given me a life. Before I went plant-based, I was suffering from high blood pressure that I started taking medicine for when I was 18 years old. So for 20 years, I took high blood pressure medicine, and it got to the point where I was taking 4 pills a day for high blood pressure.
Wow.
And I also, during that time, developed high cholesterol. And the really bad part for me was migraine headaches. I started having headaches occasionally. They became more frequent. And by the time I was 38 years old, which is when we started a plant-based diet, which is almost 4 years ago, the migraines were getting to a point where I was having them for 10 to 15 days out of the month. And during that 10 to 15 days, I was obviously in a lot of pain, didn't want to do anything, kind of stopped working out, kind of stopped caring about a lot of things. And so I was really on my last, the last bit of rope there. And we tried several different things. We tried eliminating nitrates, eliminating MSGs, getting rid of all kinds of stuff, and nothing seemed to work. So at the suggestion of my wife, we went to a plant-based diet. And my initial reaction was, no way, I'm not going to do that. I couldn't give up meat, couldn't give up all that stuff. I work in a firehouse. We all eat big meals together. We, a lot of manly men. We like our steak and stuff like that. But the Engine 2 diet had a 28-day challenge, so figured 28 days, I can try anything. So went to that, tried that, and that first 28 days, I didn't have a single migraine. So I went from the month before having 15 days of migraines to the first month of doing that, no migraines. So we continued doing it. First 3 months of doing it, no migraines. And I actually ended up getting off all my medications. Wow. So I was taking 6 medications a day, was having migraines half the month before, and after a few months of going plant-based, stopped taking all medicine. And I was starting to actually feel really good too. So I started running because I needed an outlet for the energy that I had. And since then, I've become an ultra runner, run races all the time. I pace with people, and pretty much just opened up a whole new life in the running world, and just feeling healthy, feeling good, and not wanting to, end things, essentially.
Did you run before this? Did you run before the plant-based?
No, actually, I wasn't a runner at all. I worked out, like at work, I would lift weights to stay in shape. If I ran, I'd get on the treadmill and run 10 minutes, maybe run a mile or something like that. But before plant-based, when I started running, to run a 5K was amazing. I still remember the first time my wife and I ran a 5K. It wasn't an official 5K, but we're just like, hey, let's go out and run 3 miles. This was after we had started running a little bit. We were amazed that we just ran 3 miles, and now right. I don't get out the door hardly for less than 5,
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Did I'm just curious because it sounds, because I just got back from Plant Stock a little bit ago, and
right.
To see Rip, it sounds like a similar situation. How did your wife find out about the plant-based?
I think mostly just from doing research online. She knew how bad I was feeling. Yeah, obviously, we're we've been together since I was 18. She was 16.
Wow.
She saw the gradual kind of decline in how I was feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and she knew I was not feeling good. So she was researching a lot of stuff, and I researched stuff too, and I saw the Engine 2 diet, and actually there was a couple of guys at work that had tried the Engine 2 diet. They did it for a month, they felt great, but then they went back to their old ways of eating. But it was just something that like I saw looking online, and I just kind of dismissed it. But she looked into it more and was like, hey, let's give it a shot.
Right. So it sounds like you got rid of a lot of medical stuff, the migraines and high blood pressure and cholesterol and all that stuff. What about, did you experience any weight loss with it?
Right. Well, because like I said, I used to work out a little bit, and then because of the migraines, I kind of stopped working out very much, and I got up to about 220 pounds, which I know it doesn't sound like a lot for a lot of people, especially you, but yeah, I lost about 40 pounds. I got down to about 180.
Nice.
Right now, I'm at about 185. It's 4 years later
Yeah.
from starting it, so I've pretty much maintained for. I don't remember how long it took me to lose those 40-ish pounds, probably 3, 4, 5 months. I don't really remember. But since then, I've basically maintained the exact weight.
That's awesome. You know, I when I talk to people, especially because I get that a lot. Well, I didn't lose anything near you or whatever, but I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, and it's kind of a cool idea that it doesn't, like, however much weight you lose or have to lose, or some people have nothing to lose, that doesn't even matter, because we're all
Right.
doing the same process, and it's really what it is. It's a matter of time before your body catches up to where it should be.
Right.
You know?
And as far as losing weight, it's more of an outward appearance type thing. Like it's something to show people like, hey,
Right.
look at it. I went from this to this, where they don't see what's happening on the inside. And everybody thought I was thin and thought I looked good and everything. But I wasn't feeling good,
Right.
and that's the biggest change is I went from not feeling good to feeling good. And it's just a much better way to go through life, feeling good.
Yeah. And that's a way better thing than some pounds on the scale, for sure.
Right.
So, okay, so I'm going to give you the excuse. So I hear this one so much, and I hear so many excuses all the time. But this one is a big one. And we actually used this excuse when I started, like before I started. Lives tend to be chaotic, and not everyone can work like a normal job, banker's hours, and have this little pristine schedule that they can count on. Heather has her own business, and we never know when we're going to be working and what's going to happen, and we're going to get called out. So, and I'm not alone. But the thing is, I hear people say all the time, I would do the plant-based diet, but I don't have enough time to prepare because my life is so chaotic with the hours that I work. So my first question for you is, why do you think I asked you to smash this excuse for us?
Well, you probably asked because, I'm a firefighter, and my wife Carolyn's also a firefighter. So I work for a 24-hour shift, and then she works for a 24-hour shift the following day. So that day, obviously, I'm home with the kids. We have two kids, and then we got another day where we're off together. We've done a lot of overtime this year. We're really busy. The kids have always played sports. My son's always played ice hockey, and that is an insane schedule.
Yeah.
He practiced, 5 nights a week. We'd have tournaments. We'd probably do. Last year, I think he played 65 games between October and like the end of March,
Wow.
plus practices and everything. So obviously we're crazy busy. Our schedule is pretty packed.
So, okay. So just, can you give us a real quick idea? So you work 24 hours and then she works 24 hours. That can't be your whole work week. What else goes on? Like,
So-
take us through from like Monday to.
So
For a
if I
week.
work on Monday, I work from 7 a.m. till 7 a.m. So I'll work 7 a.m. Monday till 7 a.m. on Tuesday morning. Carolyn works from 7 a.m. Tuesday morning to 7 a.m. Wednesday morning. Then Wednesday, we both have the day off together. Then Thursday I would work again, and then Sunday I would work again. So I work for 24 hours on, and then I'm off for 48 hours. Now, if we get an overtime shift during that, I'll work an extra 24 hours. So I'll work 48 hours in a row, and then I'll have 24 hours off. And this year I've done that quite a bit. Worked 48-hour shifts, And also because of races and things like that, and obviously I do a lot of races, I have to trade shifts with guys here and there. So they may work a shift for me, but then I'm working for them, so I'm working another 48-hour shift because I have to cover them.
Right.
So I mean that's our work week. Basically, I'll work anywhere from 48 to 72 hours depending on the week.
That's insane. I can't wrap my head around a 24-hour shift.
Yeah,
I used to complain when we were on 12 hours with
It's
overtime.
it's nice on occasion when we get to sleep all night, but that doesn't normally happen. Obviously,
Right,
normally we're
right.
up running
Yeah,
calls.
we're actually that brings me to the next question. Can you walk us through? Obviously, this is not like typical, get up, make breakfast, and then take a lunch with you, and then come back home for dinner. So, can
Right.
you walk us through some of the challenges and like give some like real life examples of some of the hurdles that you have to jump during this?
Well, one big thing is obviously when I'm at work. We have treadmills, so we're allowed to work. I know everybody doesn't have obviously access to run on a treadmill at work, which that's something we get. But a lot of times I'll get on the treadmill because I planned on doing an hour run or whatever. I'll get 5 minutes in, we get an emergency call. Gotta go run the emergency call, take somebody to the hospital, do whatever. By the time I get back, that's one of the excuses a lot of the firemen use is, hey, you know what? I don't like working out at work because I'm going to get interrupted and get a call. Well, if I plan on running an hour, I'm going to get that hour run in at some point. It may take me 3 times of getting on the treadmill or 4 times of getting on the treadmill. And there have been times when I've been on there at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. You just got to get it done.
Right.
So, that's one of the biggest hurdles at work is obviously I don't know what's going to happen at work. We may have a day, I may get on the treadmill for 2 hours and I may not get interrupted, but it's rare that happens.
What about food? Like, what does food look like for you during that day?
So usually what I'll do is, we get there at 7 a.m. We have to go check our rigs, make sure everything is good to go, and then we can have breakfast. So usually for me, I'll bring oatmeal, some bananas, fruit, something like that, something I can grab quick. Bananas a lot of times really is the end of what I eat for breakfast because I can just grab it and eat it quick, but we'll get a little chance. And then lunch, we usually try to eat around noon. For me, I'll usually bring like a salad. I like eating salad with like avocado or something like that. Or like sweet potatoes, black beans, corn, that kind of thing. And then dinner, a lot of times I'll just do like rice and veggies. Like I'll get a bag of frozen veggies and we prepare rice at home. We'll make big batches of it and then we'll freeze a couple cups in Ziploc bags so that I can just bring it and defrost it at work quick and eat it. That's one thing that's really easy is just frozen veggies. It takes 5 minutes to cook that up, right?
Right.
And get that in. And then the guys that I work with actually have taken a little bit of an interest in the plant-based diet. And so there's, we'll plan meals together too and try to eat meals together. But, sometimes we eat at noon, sometimes we're eating lunch at 3, sometimes we're eating lunch at 9 or dinner at 9 o'clock at night. It all depends.
Right. So it's not like you guys eat together, but you don't necessarily cook together. You bring your own food.
Right. Yeah. So that was one that we always in the past ate together. As a company, we bought the same food, ate together. When I initially went plant-based, that was a decision I had to make. Like, hey, you know what, you guys, for my health, I need to worry about me right now. So I started bringing my own food. And we would eat at the same time still. So we're still hanging out together, eating at the same time, just not eating the same food.
Right. Okay. So that's perfect. So there's times, if I'm hearing this right, there's times that you come in there and you have your rice and beans or whatever, and everyone else is eating something else.
Oh yeah, they'll be eating hamburgers or steak or whatever.
Right. And are you usually the only one that's eating something different?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah. I mean, there's a couple other guys that'll bring their own stuff, but for the most part, yeah, I'm the only one.
And do they all pitch in for the food?
Yeah, that's what usually. So like it's say $10 a day. Everyone pitches $10 a day in. At my station, there's 5 guys at my station generally, sometimes 6.
Right.
So then they put that money together and they go buy dinner. So like I said, sometimes lately we've been doing more plant-based stuff that we can all eat together because they've taken somewhat of an interest in it. But I also always bring my own food too, just in case the guys don't want to be in there that day, or if I get stuck on an overtime shift, I don't always know that I'm going to be gone for 48 hours. So I always bring food with just in case for the next day.
So what did that look like when you first started? How was that for you to walk in there the first time and say, okay, I appreciate your ribs and everything, but I want to have me a nice bed of greens and stuff.
I got a lot of ribbing, that's for sure. I got a lot of guys, I got a lot of crap for a while, and it's all in good fun, but it is kind of a big thing for us to eat together at the firehouse,
Well, I can imagine that camaraderie and
right, and it is kind of a big thing. So actually, to take that step and say, guys, I'm out. I'm not eating together. We can eat at the same time. It was a big step for me to do that, and but it's worked out well. And like I said, initially, I got a lot of crap for it, but the guys have seen what it's done for me. So nobody says anything anymore.
Yeah. So not only did you get a lot of crap for it, but how hard was that for you not to cave? Like, because there's got to be stuff like leftovers laying around in the kitchen, no one's around, and how tempting was that?
It wasn't like, so eating meat and cheese and stuff like that wasn't so tempting for me, which I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be really hard to give that stuff up. I don't know if it's because of how I felt or because we got a lot of new recipes to try out now, a lot of new stuff. So I don't know exactly what it was, but it wasn't really all that hard to not dive into that stuff. My biggest weakness, things that I like a lot, is potato chips. So if they got potato chips there or Doritos, stuff like that, that's the hard thing to avoid for me.
I was a huge Cool Ranch Dorito fan.
Yeah. Now they got the sweet chili ones that, technically on a vegan diet you can eat, but obviously they're not healthy for you, they're not good for you. But that's the kind of stuff I have trouble avoiding.
Yeah. And they're small enough that you can, you think you can just get away with one, but we both know where that ends up.
No, that's not happening.
Yeah. So, okay, so you kind of hit a few of these in the last question, but can you give our guests some tools that you use to get over that Dorito thing or the temptations? And basically you mentioned preparing, so that's huge. But could you just walk us through a few tools that you use to get through your shifts?
Like you said, preparing is a big key. Like I said, we batch cook a lot of rice, so we have frozen rice in the freezer. We buy a lot of just bags of frozen vegetables, so that's easy. When we first started the plant-based diet, one of the things we did a lot was Sunday we'd go shopping, we'd come home, we'd dice up everything, get everything all prepped and ready to go. So if you wanted a salad or something, all you had to do was open the greens, open the peppers, whatever you wanted to throw into a salad, and throw it into the salad. So that was really easy to do, just to prepare it ahead of time, essentially.
Yeah, we used to be super good at prepping, and we lost it. I don't know what happened.
We did too. I think it's because when we started, you're so focused on it and how do we do this? How do we do this? And so you get it all prepped. Now we've been doing it for so long, it's just kind of what we do, So it's not. We don't really do all the dicing and chopping and all that. We don't always do that,
Yeah. Well, I mean, even today, literally a couple hours ago, I came home with probably 20. We eat a lot of green peppers and onions. Yeah. And I probably came home with 20 green peppers. And I think about how stupid it is. All week, we'll use them in less than a week. But every night I'm taking 2 of them, cutting them up, pulling the seeds out. And it's if I just do it all at once and put them in Tupperware, I'm done. And
then you can wash dishes once, and you're not doing them every night.
Yeah, I know.
That's the same. We're the same way. Yeah, it's
crazy. Okay, so how about can I get one more tool from you?
One more tool. So prepping is obviously a huge one, and just starting on Friday or the day before you go shopping or whatever, come up with a meal plan for the whole week. And there's Engine 2 Diet has meal plans, Rich Roll has diet plans, and you can pick out your dinners for all the whole week, and have recipes ready to go. And if you know that, all right, so tonight or tomorrow night we have to go watch my daughter at a golf meet, we're not going to get home till 7 o'clock. Well, we can throw some soup in the crock pot, and when we get home at 7 o'clock, that soup's going to be ready for us. you know?
Right.
Or grab a couple bananas to take out to the golf course with us so we can watch her. Things like that
Yeah.
help us a lot.
And sometimes I like taking, like, if you're going to do the soup, then the next night I can do rice and take the leftover soup and put that into the
Exactly.
rice. Or,
Make one meal into 2 meals or 3
Yeah.
meals even. I'll do leftovers for lunch all the time.
Right.
All I gotta do is throw it in the microwave and heat it up. So that's something we
yeah,
do.
even if you got to mix it, like if you have a little bit of rice left over and then, put some, crushed tomatoes and maybe some chili powder and stuff and make a whole different dish out of it.
Yeah,
Sure.
for me, rice, nutritional yeast, and sriracha makes everything better.
Yeah,
So
me too.
I can just throw it into everything.
I know that's a problem. But okay, I cannot thank you enough. Although I do have one like super quick question for you.
Yeah.
Because while you were talking, I'm dying to know this. Did you ever show your fire company Rip Esselstyn's stuff, like the Engine 2 Rescue or anything?
Yeah, actually, so we've looked at on Netflix, like Forks Over Knives and Food Inc. and Rip has a little program on Netflix too, to where he goes around and makes some meals and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, the
we've
Kitchen
watched
Rescue.
those at the firehouse. Yeah, we've watched some of those at the
Yeah.
firehouse. Guys are interested in it, but like, I think you need something. A lot of people need something kind of catastrophic to make that change,
Yeah.
And for some of the guys, just being a little overweight or a little out of shape, it's not necessarily enough for them,
Right.
And for me, like I said, I had high blood pressure for 20 years. That's not what made me make the change. What made me make the change was the migraines.
Right.
If I never started getting the migraines, I'd probably still be eating the standard American diet. So that was my kind of catastrophic event.
Yeah.
That forced me to change. But
Yeah, that's awesome.
unfortunately, it shouldn't take that, but it does for a lot of people.
Right. And then you try to tell people, even this is kind of why I'm doing this, is because you try to tell people that it doesn't have to take a catastrophic event to become,
Right.
or maintain your health if you think you're healthy now.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, one of the takeaways from Rips, I'll never forget him saying this as a firefighter. I never thought about this, and I'm going to ask you if this is true. When I picture firemen, like fighting fires, going into burning buildings and rescuing people like you see in the movies. But what Rip said is the majority of their calls are cardiac
Yeah, so
events.
like on our department, we're all firefighters and paramedics. So today I might be on the ambulance, next shift I might be on the engine. The majority of our calls, probably I'd say 70% of our calls are ambulance calls. So I mean that's where we're running calls. A lot of sick people, diabetic, cardiac, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, just chronic disease. Yeah.
Right. So that's where the majority of our job is running
Yeah.
ambulance calls, and then fire alarms. I mean, actual fires, it doesn't happen a lot.
Right. Okay, we're going to wrap this up, and I cannot thank you. I know this is going to help a whole bunch of people, and thank you. And thank you for keeping us safe, man. That's pretty cool. Your job is a really, I appreciate it and respect it. So thanks for being here.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
So there's Jim Gray. I was fortunate enough to actually meet him and his family a few months ago in Leadville for a race we were out there for. And he's such an awesome guy. He's such a nice guy. His whole family is super cool. And I've been fascinated with the whole firefighter life since we met. Around where I live, we have volunteer firefighters. And it's a little different setup. But after talking to him, I realized that he's not just breaking the whole chaotic work schedule. He's also breaking the camaraderie of eating together with friends and that kind of feeling lonely, like you're the only one that's eating something different than everyone. It's not like it's a once in a while party. This is what they do every day. So there's a lot of dimensions to what he goes through. And I think, like he said, a lot of it is just being prepared. It's one thing to get called after work for a late meeting or something, but to actually work another 24-hour shift seems insane to me. But I think after talking to him, when someone gives me the excuse that they can't do this because they're too busy or they have such a crazy schedule, I'm pretty sure that Jim Gray this excuse is just, it's totally
Smash.